Hey guys, it's Chris at Highline Guitars. You're watching another one of my YouTube guitar building videos. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I hope that by the end of the video, I'll have earned the honor and privilege of your subscription. In today's video, I wanted to talk about a leveling technique, which is called understring leveling. Now, what is understring leveling? Is it the opposite of over the string leveling? No, of course not. There's no such thing as over the string leveling. Understring leveling is simply a different method for leveling as opposed to what we've been doing traditionally for decades. And that is to remove the strings, adjust the truss rod to make sure that the fretboard is perfectly straight and level. Then we use a fret leveling beam like these to level the frets. And it's a tried and true method. It's worked for years, but there are situations where it isn't the most ideal approach. And that has to do with what happens when you string up the guitar, tune the strings, intonate them, and then play the guitar. Because when you tune your strings, you're putting a lot of pulling force on the headstock, about 150 pounds of pulling force with 6-string guitars. And what that does is it has this tendency, because the strings are pulling on the headstock, to pull that headstock up so that the neck is bowing. It's called up bow. It's also called front bow, forward bow, and relief. All those terms mean the same thing. The neck is bowing up towards the headstock. And a lot of guitar players actually like to have a little bit of this up bow slash forward bow, front bow relief. Because when you play the guitar and you strum the strings, they're vibrating the most in the middle of the scale length, which is roughly around the 8th fret up to about the 14th, 15th fret. And what they like to do is induce a little bit of relief so that the string has air or space to vibrate without hitting the strings. Well, if you level your frets with the fretboard level and then you induce some relief, or you allow the strings to pull the headstock into relief, the frets are no longer level. And frets, in order to be level, they must be level with respect to the string, which is straight. The string doesn't bow. The string is perfectly straight from the bridge to the nut. Therefore, the frets have to be level as well. So when the neck is pulled into a bow-like shape after the frets have been leveled, the frets are no longer level. And that can cause problems as you're playing the guitar. You can get string buzz despite the fact that you've induced relief. And that can be really frustrating. So years and years and years ago, Dan Erlewine at StewMac came up with a tool called a string tension simulating neck jig. And what that does is it simulates the effect of string tension on the neck so that you can remove the strings, induce that up bow, and then you can use your fret leveling beam to get the frets perfectly level with respect to the string. So you've got the relief, but then you still also have perfectly level frets. It's a great idea, and it works beautifully. The problem is, it's really expensive, and not everyone out there can afford to invest in a string tension simulating neck jig. So over the years, some clever luthiers have come up with a different method, and that is to use a specially designed fret leveling beam that allows you to level the frets with the strings still in place. It's an ingenious method, because what this does is you keep the strings on here so that it's inducing the effect of string tension on the neck, and then you're using the tool to get the frets level despite any up bow or front bow, forward bow relief. And you get all the frets perfectly level. And therefore, you can keep your relief and you've eliminated the string buzz, and it works great. Hey guys, if you're really enjoying this video, it would be awesome if you would click that thumbs up button down below. And if you're new to the channel, click the subscribe button while you're at it. Both are free to do. They don't cost you anything, and it's a great way to show my channel support. But if you really want to get the most out of this channel, I would suggest you click the join button down below, because as a member, you're going to have access to exclusive content that contains a lot more information and detail than the rest of my videos on this channel. Also, you're going to have access to my Q&A live streams. Now let's get back to the video. Now, it's important to understand that even though you can level your frets with the strings in place using one of these tools, You still have to remove the strings to recrown, polish, and dress your frets. However, those processes don't affect the fret level, at least if you're doing it correctly. You're not removing enough material to affect how level the frets are. So by all means, you can level your frets with an understring fret leveling beam, get them perfectly level, then loosen and move your strings out of the way and do the rest of your crowning and dressing and stuff. And you're going to get a very good fret leveling job. So you don't have to worry about removing the strings and leveling the frets with the strings out of the way, and then having to deal with the potential that string-induced upbow is going to spoil all that work you did leveling the frets. Now, I still like to use my fret leveling beam with the strings off and the neck level. And the reason for that is because I'm building brand new guitars. I'm not repairing guitars, and in many cases, the guitars that I build, I'm selling to people I don't know, and they oftentimes will induce a little bit of relief if they prefer it by adjusting the truss rod, or they'll change the string gauges to a different gauge of strings that they prefer to play with, or they may go with different tunings, and all of those will have an effect on what it does to the neck. And as a result, they'll contact me and say, you know, I bought this guitar, but now that I've done these things, it's buzzing. What do I do? And I always tell them, you need to take the guitar to a luthier nearby where you are, set up exactly the way you like to play it, and then let them level the frets accordingly. And if they do the understring leveling, they can do that. Or if they have the string tension neck simulating jig, they can use that as well to get the frets level with respect to the string, despite there being any up bow or front bow, forward bow relief. There's also the issue, and this is common with vintage guitars or used guitars or old guitars, existing guitars, where the neck may move in ways that are unpredictable. You'll get a hump instead of a bowl shape. It's the opposite. That's called back bow. And that can happen as well. It's not as common as up bow, but it does happen. You can also get a common effect where the neck will bow in sort of a sideways S shape, where from the nut it curves down, and then towards the center of the fretboard it comes back up, then it forms a hump as it inserts into the body. These are things you can't predict, and you can't see them. And oftentimes, even if you use like one of these notched straight edges, you can't see them either. But it's there, and if you can simulate the string tension or level with the strings in place, you can get your frets level despite whatever is happening with the level of the neck. So I hope that you found this video useful, and maybe it'll give you some food for thought. Maybe you'll consider the benefits of using understring leveling. And this is a tool that I purchased a while back on AliExpress, and I plan to do a review on it in the not too distant future. And in truth, if you're going to be doing a full level with the strings on using one of these tools, you can buy them in different lengths. This is one of the, I think this is the medium length one, but there is one that's quite a bit longer, and you can use that to do a full length fret leveling job, so it works really well. So at any rate, I hope you found the video useful. If so, give it a thumbs up. Visit eGuitarPlans.com, my Highline Guitars merch store, and any purchase you make there is going to help support the channel so I can keep making these videos and sharing my knowledge and experience with you. And as I said earlier in the video, you can also join and become a member, where you'll get to watch videos just like the one I'm making right now, but with a little bit more detail. So at any rate, as always, take care, stay safe, and I hope you'll be back for more guitar building videos.